Hey, welcome back. Matt with HobbyKing, and we are back in the shop talking about multi-rotors. Lots of copters here, lots of stuff here on the table I've been playing around with. These are prototypes I've been working with for several years, pretty much using all of the different flight controller combinations you'd find, multi-re and Mega Pirate and Quadcopter and KK and any of the others I could think of. I've pretty much messed with them all, flown them all. This is the X-4. Now, as promised, we're doing a nice big build on the X-4 here, and I know this is gonna work because I've built it before. It's basically this copter that's here to my right, and it's going to, this exact set of components is going into the X-4. So first thing we're gonna have to do is a little bit of layout work and figure out where we want things to be in the copter, how long things need to be, cut and solder some wires, get some connectors soldered on, all the little electronics tasks that we have to get done. Once that's completed, then we can assemble this thing and see how it flies. And as promised, I'll take you through multi-Wii software setup so that you kind of have an idea how that goes down. So component-wise, we're using the HK Multi-Wii Pro board. That guy comes with an MTK NEMA protocol GPS. I've also got HobbyKing Multi-Wii Bluetooth communication adapter. That's going to be super cool so that we can do our tuning and programming from the phone while we fly. Really, really neat stuff. Flying this with NTM 2826 1200 kV motors for these little guys. Should be more than enough power with 10x4 slow fly props. That's hard to say. Flying with FR Sky, I've got an 8-channel FR Sky receiver. I use them because I have voltage and RSSI telemetry on my transmitter. That means I can see the voltage of the main flight battery and also my signal strength as I'm flying, which is especially important if you're gonna fly a fiberglass quadcopter, because that is as silly an idea as it sounds, and it's probably, something, what my buddy Gabe called it, a crunchy copter, because if it hits the ground, it's gonna go crunch. I've got a Q-Brain 4x20 ESC, so one ESC controlling all of the motors, gets all the mass centralized, and I'm gonna slap a cooling fan on that thing because this is an enclosed fiberglass tube. Comments video from last week, comments video for user FG Dude says, ha ha ha, if you stop the video right at 4:31, you can get a look at B.A. Baracus. Cool stuff, guys. I like that black alien quadcopter thing. Cheers. B.A. Baracus was Mr. T's character on the A-Team. I think that's a compliment. I'm gonna run with that as a compliment, but I have not nearly enough black chains and I'm not even close to brown enough, but okay.
Okay, on the first episode of 123D, Mr. Rickan341 said, nice job, Michael. Now we need Michael Wargo's aeroplane series. I would very much like to test those for you. Just give me a call whenever HobbyKing decide to do so. Vince. Well, Vince, I think that's a good idea, so we'll talk about it at the office.
The first thing we need to do for the X4 build is set up the main board, get the software loaded, and get it into the copter. So, to that end, my very first step is to take the board here and solder these little pins on that will let us use the Bluetooth on the board to do our actual tuning of the copter. Once this is installed in the X4, it's gonna be very, very difficult to plug in a USB cable. So we need to put it in with the Bluetooth module so we can do our programming from the phone or other sort of device, which is really cool anyway. Now, to update the firmware, I would normally use my little netbook PC that's over here by the soldering iron, but you guys won't be able to see that. So Jose and I are gonna go inside and I'm gonna plug this into my larger PC and guide you guys through the firmware update. Naito Nationality 6 days ago says, I wish I had EDFs hanging around in my room that I could strap onto things. The cat might get an upgrade. Cool video, cheers. Cats don't need jet engines, man. It's not cool. I mean, if you're gonna build them like a little Iron Man robo suit and have them running around and have them be jet powered, that might be cool. But just strapping the EDF to the cat, not a good plan. We've plugged it in with a micro USB cable to the PC. So you go ahead and power the card on or plug it into USB and you'll see it light up and start blinking at you. That is always a good sign. So from there, we're going to use Arduino software. Now, you should have downloaded the latest version of Arduino and also the latest version of MultiWii, in this case version 2.2, which we're going to install on this board. If you go to the HobbyKing page for this board on the website, you can download a version of MultiWii that's already configured for this board that's made most of the changes I'm going to make right now. I'll go over what those are and why. Open up the MultiWii 2.2 MultiWii file. This is what it'll look like when it opens in Arduino. Go up to Tools, Board, make sure you've selected the right board, in this case Arduino Mega 2560, and go to Serial Port and select the port, in this case COM6. There it is, COM6. And then we're going to go through and make some changes to the code itself. Most of these parameters, if you downloaded this from the HobbyKing site, have already been set for you. You need to check as you go through basic setup. This is Quad X. Oh, by the way, backing up a second, this is the Config H tab. As you go across all of here, this is the only tab that we need to edit for now. So change this to Quad X. Minimum throttle, this is the default factory value is 1100, that's fine. Max throttle, min command, all of these things are fine. We need to make sure that the board is set as FFIMU-V2, that's correct. To change this stuff, you would put 2 lines in or delete them. Anything that starts with a pound is a command. And we scroll on down. We don't need to change any other settings for now. We're Quad X, we've got the board defined. The only other thing we need to do is make sure that our GPS settings are correct. And we just keep scrolling on by all this stuff that's in here. Lots and lots and lots of information we're not going to use right now until we get to here, GPS. So, define the GPS as serial 2, that's correct. Baud should be 115.2, that's correct. If you're using the MTK GPS that came with this board, there's lots of confusing things here that say MTK. Don't worry about that. The protocol for the device is NMEA, as defined here, and because it's an MTK GPS, you can go down here to init MTK GPS, and this will load all the settings for the thing automatically, so you don't have to do anything else. That's it for code changes. So that's literally the only thing you need to do in this file is verify that these 2 lines are present, and in the one you get from HobbyKing, this line is not present, so you need to make sure you add that little guy. And that's it. From there, go up here, save your file, click this check mark, that'll verify that the code was correct. Okay, so no changes that we've made to this file caused it to freak out or anything, so that's all good. One last step to do before we upload fresh firmware to this board. Go to File, come down here to Examples, all the way over here to EEPROM, and run this little file that says EEPROM clear. That'll bring up a second little Arduino sketch box. And you want to just go ahead and click Upload. That's going to wipe the EEPROM memory on the board, so any old settings or anything that are in there from before will get erased, so you don't start with somebody else's corrupted file. So that's it. That's all cleared out. Then come on over here and click Upload, and that'll compile the sketch to the board, writing the software to our fresh board, ready to roll. It's blinking. That's telling us that it's loading its software as it goes. Boom, we're done. Stephen Martin says, thanks guys, this is in response to the 123D episode 1. Stephen Martin says, thanks guys, I'm heading to the shed to reconfigure some planes. Can't wait for the rest of the series. A great series. Yeah, you know, I actually ran around the garage here not long after Markle left and started looking at all of my aircraft and making changes as well. So good call, I'm sure there's some reconfiguring in the future for a lot of us.
On last week's comment video posted here, Plastic Butcher says, hey Matt, could you give us some information on that black and white plane behind you in the video? It looks way cool with a K. Thanks and keep up the great work. Well, he can't, but I can, because he's actually referring to this model here. This is the next retro Durafly Retro Series model. That's about all I'm going to say for now.
So, now that the software is installed on the board, I needed to go ahead and plug in the GPS module and the Bluetooth module so I can confirm that everything's working and dialed before we put it in the copter. So as you can see from right here, I've got the GPS module connected. That's pretty easy. You just follow the cable down and it's labeled with ground, RX, TX, and voltage. You line those pins up with the RX, TX2 pins on the board here at the top. and plug everything in, and that will work. Same with the GP, or with the Bluetooth module rather. It's labeled on the bottom to tell you what each function is, and you just trace those wires down to the new pins that we soldered in for TX and RX0. Again, TX0 for Bluetooth, TX2 for GPS. So you get those two things plugged in. Those are the serial ports. And then I've got a UBEC over here plugged into one of the motor ports for voltage, so we can turn that bad boy on. That gets the whole board up and running. Everybody wakes up, the light on the bottom of the GPS comes on, and the light on the Bluetooth starts blinking. Very, very cool. Grab your telephone, or whatever tablet it is that you're going to use for your Android programming in this case. I use an application called the MultiWii Easy GUI. Get that guy running.
Started.
It talks to you, which is quite cool. We can hit MultiWii Connect. Wait a minute.
MW Connect.
It's going to do its thing. Let's say connected, and we're good. So now we are connected to the board. You can see on the phone here, we have all kinds of cool options and control over MultiWii stuff. Really, really cool. We're going to go in to the settings Other. And we're going to do an accelerometer, ACC calibration on the board first.
0 meters.
The board's sitting here nice and level. Hit calibration. Blinks for a second and does its thing. And now our accelerometers are calibrated, and we can confirm that. We come over here and look at one of our little
Dashboard
dashboards.
1.
We can wiggle the copter
Altitude
around,
0
and you
meters.
see all the little things moving on the screen. Now that actually lets us tell that our pitch and our roll are working correctly, and our magnetic compass. Now we want to confirm that our magnetic compass is correct, so we'll calibrate that also. But the bottom line is the board's now working correctly, all of our various connectors are working correctly, and we can start
Altitude
embedding
0
things.
meters.
Stop interrupting me. We start embedding these things into the copter. So the next step is basically to lay out the materials and get the copter build underway. So here we go.
Altitude 0 meters.
Flying Daily says, also for 123D, Flying Daily says, what a great concept. Just read on RC groups in a thread, somebody said they saw Michael Wargo hover and it looked like no input. Here on the series, he says it's more like a continual small inputs and relaxing. Absolutely, he says this is the kind of information that changes the way we fly. Awesome. That's what we hope you guys get out of this series. I'm glad it's already working for you. And as we continue, hopefully it'll get better. That's really cool. And then also in the mix there too, Ranky's Skunkworks says, what's an inch? Can you eat that? Yeah, I don't know what an inch is either anymore at this point. The world has gone metric. I'm not quite sure why the US refuses to get with the program. Sooner or later we'll figure it out. Yeah, that's all I got. It's gonna be the most glued wheels ever. Like these tires are never coming off when this set of wheels. This is gonna be gross too. Get on there. Yes, thank you. Ta-da! There you have it, man. That is the X-4. Really much easier to build than I expected. It went together quickly. I thought it might be fiddly. It really wasn't. Getting the wires through the booms to the motors wasn't a big deal. You guys saw me put together, what was that, monkey with an Etch-a-Sketch? You got the monkey with an Etch-a-Sketch footage of me putting this thing together. Don't really have much else to say. It went together great. I think we should go see it fly.
Okay, so if you win, don't forget to send us an email at hobbykingwinner@gmail.com. Do say that you won and your name and which week you won for, because if not, you'll get mixed with the junk mail and it's hard to find you. We haven't found some of you, the winners out there. And on that winning note, this week's winner is RC Mania Cyprus, which was the first guy to say happy birthday to me. So thank you. You get a birthday too.
It's very, very hot up here on the mountain. Do you think this might look a bit dodgy, like in the back of the van? Like come into the back of the van with me? No? Okay, good. As long as it doesn't.